They finally got them, folks. They finally caught the Little Rascals. Now, if you don't know who the Little Rascals are, a few days ago, a bank was robbed in Houston. And the bank robbers turned out to be three little kids, basically. So they dubbed them the Little Rascals. And it only took the FBI and local law enforcement a few days to catch these little kids after they robbed the bank and fled on foot. But isn't it funny how, like, certain races of criminals are automatically labeled by their race and identified by their race, while other races of criminals are given cute little nicknames like the Little Rascals or baby-faced teenagers? I've been seeing that a lot lately. But anyways, when this happened, the FBI, I guess because they tried to say it was because of their ages, we know why it really was, but the FBI and local law enforcement, they were asking for people to help identify the bank robbers, but they were refusing to show what the bank robbers looked like. They were like, hey, we need help finding these three individuals. And then they showed you three blurry blurs because they blurred out the face so you couldn't see who or what they looked like. Now, of course, I went ahead and showed you all the photos, and while the FBI and the local law enforcement were saying, oh, we believe these kids are 16 or 18 years old, I told you all straight up, these kids look like freaking 10 and 11-year-olds, and guess what? They were ages 11, 12, and 16. So they weren't as old as the mainstream media made them out to be. I already showed you what they looked like. Here's their faces right here. And it took the FBI days on end to catch these individuals. And they put out this post, saying that all of the suspects are in custody, as if they really went out there and worked hard to find them, when in reality, the parents of these three kids turned them in. It wasn't FBI, it wasn't local law enforcement, it wasn't the Houston Police Department. They didn't go and find these kids. The parents had to turn them in. Because I guess, think about it. You send your kid off to school. Maybe your kid walks home from school, hangs out with his buddies. You walk into your kid's bedroom and they have like $100,000 laying around. And you're like, where in the hell did this come from, right? I can't imagine how they went about doing this and how they got away, but it must have been pretty easy. And that's where the conversation really needs to be had. Because, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it doesn't seem like anyone is putting the effort that they used to put in. Remember back in the day, bank robbers would have to come up with like crazy schemes, crazy heists. You would have, a group of people with Tommy guns and those old school Ford cars that would rob the banks, and they would run from police, getting in shootouts. You had your movies like Ocean's 11 and stuff like that. I know that's a little different, but I think you all get what I'm saying here. You think about these bank robberies and these bank heists as, not all the time, but you think of them as like well thought out like crimes. But in this case, you have an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 16-year-old. They walk into a bank, no weapons, nothing, steal money, and leave the bank on foot. And they were never caught. They were turned in by their parents. So how safe is your money if an unarmed 11-year-old can just walk into any bank and rob the place? You know what I mean? I feel like stuff like this wasn't happening back in the day. I feel like if three kids tried to rob a bank in the 80s, they would all get hit over the head with billy clubs and like pepper sprayed, and there would be like emergency buttons and trap doors and all types of stuff going on. But in 2024, 11-year-olds can walk in with no weapon, demand all the money out of the vault, and just leave on foot, walking home, eating chicken McNuggets, trying to get home in time to, well, I was going to say watch afternoon cartoons, but things are different these days. You got streaming services, so it's not like how it used to be with me. Back in the day, I used to be, I got to get home by this time so I can watch Toonami and Dragon Ball Z. I can't miss the new episode of Pokemon. I need to be home by 5 p.m. These kids don't understand that way of life. You see, back in my day, kids weren't thinking about robbing the bank. We were thinking about getting home in time to watch cartoons. At the age of 11, we were worried about Dragon Ball Z, literally. But kids these days, there's no shared experiences. Everyone wants to be a thug or something along those lines. And instead of rushing home to watch cartoons, they're rushing to the bank to rob it and doing Lord knows what. It's a crazy world that we live in. It's only getting crazier. There was another story that I saw earlier this week about a 9-year-old killing their father. And there was another story about I believe it was a 13 or a 12-year-old that robbed a store and shot a store owner at a bodega. It's insane. It's insane. These kids are out of control. Their parents don't care. Their parents aren't raising them right. We're just going straight to hell as a country and as a society. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But I guess I'm glad these 3 people were turned in by their parents. It's really nice to know, it's really reassuring knowing that the FBI couldn't catch a couple of 11-year-olds after they robbed a bank. That's really reassuring. It lets you know that they're really, really competent at doing their jobs, and you're totally safe. They'll make sure of it. They're not worried about locking up grandmas or anything like that. They're out here doing their job. Yeah, right. But anyways, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up. If you want to donate to this channel, because unfortunately, I'm not 11 years old and I can't rob a bank. So if you want to donate to the channel, I have my Cash App in the pinned comment. Or you can help this channel out for free by liking and subscribing. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.